What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolf Brother Mythos from the channel Frost and Fists, and welcome to this video, or this live stream rather. Tonight we are gonna do some chilling and painting and working on some of our March for Macragge goals. What's up, my brother G/Funkin' Hungry? How you doing, brother? What goodness have you eaten lately? I need to catch up on your eating channel. Who took my dice? Ultramarines and Beyond, Steve. Brother, I am so sorry. I kept screwing up your name when I was filming earlier. I kept saying Ultramarines and more, and I think my brain was like polymerizing or say infusioning Idikbeer, Necrons, and more, and Who Took My Dice, Ultramarines and Beyond. And I was just like, morphing them together. It's morphin' time. Yeah, so sorry about that, brother. Oh, man. It's all good. Thank you so much. It wasn't for a video, but I had eggs, avocado, and lamb chop for lunch. That sounds delicious. I haven't had lamb chops in a hot minute. So, just announcing for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, brother Steve over at Who Took My Dice, Ultramarines and Beyond, put out a video today announcing that we're doing a little community challenge for March for Macragge, just painting up something blue. It can be an Ultramarine because Ultramarines march for Macragge, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It can be anything, that's good and blue and, fits the theme. And so we're doing a little community challenge because we're going to paint together, and we'd love to have, more of you join in and paint something blue with us, which I think will be cool. So he put out the video earlier today announcing the challenge, and then I slacked off and waited. I said, we're going to release it on Friday, and then I slacked off and waited till the last possible moment right before the show on Friday to release mine. So, but I was slacking because and the reason I'm late here, so I kept working on YouTube, and then I was late to YouTube, and so now I'm really late to YouTube. So all week I've been hustling from I say all week. I tried uploading, uploading from my phone to Google Photos / Google Drive videos that we recorded for a battle report, right? And I had trouble uploading those videos in a way that I could then download and was in a good usable format to put into Vegas, my editing software, to put together a battle report. And so I had trouble with those photos on Monday. I got them to successfully start uploading uploading and transferring on Tuesday, but they seemed like the safest way to do it without causing a failure in the transfer was to do the videos one piece at a time. And so our battle report, this is one of my, we did a battle report once before where Freak edited it, and we did a camera on every dice roll style of battle report, a nice long battle report. And I didn't edit that one, and man, this one is a beast. So I'm getting to see it firsthand now. And so what happened is that it's like 51 video clips I'm putting together for this battle report, and I'm having to stop and upload them individually, one by one by one by one. And so it's not instantaneous transfer either. It's like, you click to upload. Well, first, in my case, because I have trouble telling the 50 different video clips apart, so I got to go in and preview each one until I'm like, that's the scene I need next. And then I start uploading, and it says preparing to upload. And then over the course of, and it doesn't matter the size. I think it also depends on how much internet usage is going on in my area, that kind of thing. And so anyway, so it might take 2 minutes to upload my video clip, or it might take 10 minutes. So, it's like, go do something else for a little bit. And then I'll, upload it to the cloud. And then from the cloud, I download it, so phone to cloud to my PC. And then I can start editing it, putting it into Vegas for the battle report. And then the next scene, and then the next scene, you know. What was that commercial? Another one. Don't give up. So, anyways, that's what I've been doing. So it's just been nonstop. Well, not quite nonstop. I have to work and sleep and stuff like that. But it's been a ton of editing this battle report, and I'm still not done. I'm like at the bottom of turn 4 is where I am editing right now, and so after this there's only one more scene to go. If anyone's interested in a hangout after the show, let me know. But if there's no one already interested in doing a hangout after the show, then I might just go back to editing, just because I really want to get this out. Yes, battle reports are hard. Damn YouTube. Absolutely right, gents. Absolutely right. Yeah, battle reports can be hard, and I talk all the time about my ADD, and I have a few parts where you can tell the difference between all these channels that are really good at filming battle reports, and they've got very steady hands and very accurate filming and whatnot, and they stay on task. Sleep stream. I know on Twitch you can get taken down for that, actually. Yeah, so there's a few times where I have to go and apologize just for shaky camera work, where like I'm trying to focus on what one hand is doing with the dice and what's going on the tabletop, and the hand that's holding the phone is just like starts wandering off a little bit. And I'm doing a very poor job of recording. And so I might be like trying to focus on the dice tray, but then as my hands go to roll the dice tray, the camera just starts kind of like slipping to the side, and ADD is it's a bear. But I'm sure the more I practice this, the more I'll have the ability to stay on task and keep the camera angle, the biggest in the wandering camera. Yeah. Oh man, and it's also as I'm sure we'll get some of that in a little bit when I start painting on stream, because painting on stream has its own challenges, but same kind of like wandering. It's less wandering camera at that point because the camera's stationary, but it's me wandering off camera as I start painting. But yeah, so it's not the best shot, but I think, in my personal opinion, while it's not, the cinematography is not great, I'm putting a lot of hard work into editing and trying to do visual markers, because we're doing something called alternating activation. So a lot of people who play different games like Shatterpoint and Bolt Action, stuff like that, they say is superior to Warhammer because of the alternating activation. It means both players are continuously engaged, and it's less of a one-sided beatdown because it's a constant I go, you go. And so he and I worked together to create a custom game mission that's alternating activations. Basically, it's not unit for unit alternating activations, because if you think about it, an army like Imperial Guard or Gene Stealers or stuff like that might have 1,000,000 turns. Orcs, another great example, might have 1,000,000 units to have 1,000,000 turns, and then a more elite player like Space Marines, Custodes, might get 2 turns the whole game. You know what I mean? Was that versus Guard? Yes, it was my Ultramarines versus Imperial Guard. Which I was thinking about using the Orcs for the next battle, but actually, cool thing, we might be getting a fellow Orc player, because Atlas asked, hey, next time we film a battle report, can I use the Orcs? Which would be awesome to get someone else excited for greenskins. So, yeah, I'm hyped about that. Because I like to offer people all the time, I've got 1,000,000 armies. If you get tired of whatever army you're using, or if you just want to try something, feel free to jump in on one of my armies. So it'll be cool to see them use the Orcs. So, yeah, with this alternating activation style, I'm trying to make sure it's very clear how we lay out, Ultramarines A side, turn 1, Ultramarines B side, turn 1, and you're just, trying to make sure everything's clearly labeled. And then I guess I don't really see other channels do this very often, but I just felt the need, because there's so, and maybe it's because I'm not very confident on how I'm presenting the information when I'm trying to game, and so I felt the need to put up the rule listings anytime that there's a special rule that someone might not be familiar with, or even if they're familiar with it, by the time that you're watching everything going on, just if I'm not saying clearly what's, what rule is being used or referenced, it'd be nice to have on the screen, what that special rule is. If I just say that, one example was that, could really affect the game, that people might wonder if I'm cheating or something like that, is the Vanguard Spearhead. If I'm outside of 12 inches, I always count as being in cover, and I always get -1 to hit when someone is shooting at me from outside of 12 inches. And so if someone's not familiar with that rule, just having a little pop-up in the screen that says, hey, this is the rule that's being used, I thought might be helpful to have. I don't know how it'll turn out. Some people might find it too distracting, having all these pop-ups that come up. But I'd love to see what people think when it goes live. That's a great idea. Thank you. I hope it translates as well as it, as it is in my head. But yeah, just that kind of thing. Especially like when I know sometimes when I'm watching a faction I'm not familiar with, I lose interest because I feel like I get lost in the battle report. And so, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then like I just kind of, eventually sometimes I'll turn it off or I'll keep watching, but I am less interested because I've lost track of what's going on, just because there's so many rules I don't know for different factions. That would be cool. There's so many bloody rules now. If you didn't know either factions, you'd have to take their word. Exactly. It's funny because something Atlas and I will both do, because if a rule sounds strong, we feel the need to show each other in the book, like this is what it is. It's like, just because, I don't know, it's like sometimes you almost feel bad for a rule being good, and you're like, it's just right here, it's in the book. And so we'll do the same thing, even though our responses to each other are almost always, I believe you, man. Hey, it's Atlas. Good to see you, brother. I'm excited to see it. I am excited to see it too. And I'm so close. Like I said, I'm at the end of turn 4. And so just almost one more round to go. The community runs on the honor system, and any mistakes or misunderstandings are fine. Not on stream, though. Show each other later. I mean, I mentioned we show each other in the book, but what kind of book? It's like a Kama Sutra, or I don't. Are you making spicy content? Hey, it has long been established on this channel that I am a Chippendales worker. Okay, so spicy content was always around. Now I know what rules you show each other. OnlyFans battle reports. That's right. It's going to be strip battle reports. Every time you lose a unit, a piece of clothing's got to come off. And the people that end up running like a, an all infantry list, that's like the equivalent of the person who shows up to strip poker with extra layers on, wearing like 5 shirts and 3 jackets. And then the people playing like Custodes or Imperial Knights, they're like already like halfway undressed. 50 layers. It's like an episode of Friends where Joey goes and puts on Chandler's whole closet, and he's like, could I be wearing any more clothes? Maybe if I wasn't going commando, and he starts doing lunges there in the living room. So yeah, that's what's been up, is battle reports. Oh, okay. Oh man, it's the ADD world, guys. I'm telling you. Okay, so the whole point of me talking about the battle report is I was telling you guys why I was late. Okay, so because I've been hustling on this battle report and really putting in a lot of work on it, I was literally working on it until like 5:30 this afternoon, and I was like, oh crap, I've got to get out our March for Macragge video. I promised Steve we would start on the 1st. And I'm like, I am being an awful friend right now. And so I'm like scrambling to put together that video, which filmed relatively quickly. But then, you know, doing all the extras, you know, the uploading it, downloading it, editing it, putting in, you know, the little bells and whistles. And then I did a couple of, you know, like those little buttons that come up in the corner of the screen. What are they called? I don't remember. But yeah, you know, sometimes when you're watching a video, it little clicks, the little recommendation pops up in the corner, like, go watch this video. So trying to go through my video again to put in the different tag or flags and stuff like that. So there's like a tag that goes to the March for Macragge playlist. There's a tag that goes to one that goes to Steve's channel and one that goes to his March for Macragge video. And yeah, just by the time I got done editing all of that, it was like a little like 8:05 or right at 8 o'clock. And by the way, this whole time I'm working on that video, I'm like also like whipping together a quick dinner. Like Lily made the eggs, and I went and did some quick you know Thai style scrambled eggs, you know, all fried up. And so we had like Thai style eggs and rice, and I'm sitting there trying to just like wolf it down while you know, finishing editing the video and stuff like that and doing the thumbnail. And I did the thumbnail for this show. Well, first I did the thumbnail for that video, and then of course put it up and shared it around everywhere. And then I was like, okay, 8 o'clock, and I'm like, you know, I get up, I go to use the restroom, stuff like that, and I'm like, oh no, I've been hustling on that video, and I haven't made a thumbnail for tonight yet, and I haven't gotten all my art of the week together and stuff like that. And so then I was late putting out my video with Steve because I was working on the battle report, and then I was late to the show because I was working on the March for Macragge video. And so it's just like every one thing made the other thing late. Only YouTubers know this struggle. All struggles are real. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of my personality. Sometimes I just struggle, you know, getting out of bed and being on time. But today in specific, I was late because I was like hustling on other things that were all kind of related. It's not always like that. Sometimes I'm late just because I'm late. But today in specific, I was working on stuff. Gotta hustle. Hey man, you know how YouTube is. Like sometimes you just use that YouTube motivation, and so you gotta strike while the iron is hot, man. You gotta crank it out when you're feeling it. Speaking of late, hiya, my brother over Soul Gaming. Man, I watched a ton of his Alan Wake content this week. I think I got up to episode 8. Loving that series so far, man. It's so good. I can't wait to see more. Yeah, I gotta crank it out while you're feeling it. That's 2024. That's right. That's right. You don't want to turn it into one of those use it or lose it situations, right? I'm sitting here painting and I haven't even turned on the camera yet. Let's go down to Table Town. All right. Oh, poke chop this week. What did I do this week? Actually, I don't know if I've done any hobbying since, you know, we were hanging out together last Friday. because all week I was just working on the battle report. I don't think I really hobbied anything. Oh, the one thing I did hobby that you've probably seen on the YouTube short I put out this week is I got in these super cool flight stands from the Magnet Baron. Let me find a spacer. There we go. That's probably too close, but we'll make that work. Then we got these cool. There we go. So these are the storm speeders I printed out. I'm sorry. These are Socrates speeders I printed out from Station Forge that I personally will be proxying as Primera storm speeders. And so this is the one that's got like a little heat style thermal gun. I will be proxying it as a melta cannon. And of course it's got the different kinds of rockets here. And so this will be the one that is like supposed to be the best anti-vehicle one. But then also, and I might have these rules backwards, but also this one with a weapon up front that I will be proxying as a Las Talon, and this one I think the one I'll be proxying as gives the buff where other things that attack or either shoot or attack after this one does, they'll get +1 to wound against it. And so when you stack them together, it's like this one, if the last weapon up front doesn't finish off the vehicle, then this one with tank buster missiles and melta gun will definitely finish it off. So gotta hit the bed. I'm out, peeps. You rock, brother. You rock, my brother. Super clean. Your new printer is awesome. Yeah, I'm super hyped about it. And yeah, so I love these stands I got from the Magnet Baron, because I was looking at the ones that come with this, and it's like you can use the ones that another company that makes a similar product for 40K does. Uses, kind of thin and weedy flight stands. Or this one had printable ones, but they looked very similar in shape to the GW one, so they were they just looked very thin, and I wanted a nice beefy size, like look how girthy that is, for a flight stand. It's solid. I want something solid, and these have some super strong magnets, and to me this is extra. Like, I would have just left it glued in there, but it comes with enough magnets that you can if you want to take it all apart and transport it very, taking up the least amount of room possible. You can have the stand magnetized to the base, and you can have the vehicle magnetized to the stand, and I just think that looks so cool. I'm not going to lie. I did have this off of the base for a little bit this weekend, going around the house, flying around with it, making spaceship noises. I love the wings look almost like X-foils on an X-wing, but also, like, from this angle, it looks a little bit like a Star Fox kind of ship. So, yes. I was being a big old nerd with these flight stands I bought. So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with these. They look so cool. I can't wait to paint them up for my white scars. My white scars slash scar angels, or angel scars, or something. So, in my March for Macragge video, I vowed these 5 heavy intercessors, but I will need to do some airbrushing for them. And Chief Librarian Tigerius here, which I have overdone the brightness. I think I was painting on stream and I messed up. Dark Scar. Ooh, Dark Scars sound good. Ooh, Dark Scar. Ah, that's pretty fire. Why didn't I think of that? Dark Scars. That sounds so good. I'm a little jelly. I didn't think of it, but that's why I have this amazing um, this amazing community here for. But I was playing this one on stream, and I think I just didn't have good control with the airbrush that night, because look at that, all the brighter blue is blasted. Like, you can see some darker areas, like around his tabard, around the thighs here, a little bit on the backside of his ankles here, but for the most part I think I've just blasted all of the detail with the highlights, and they're no longer highlights, it's just glowing blue, which is fine. It's just not the look I want to go for. You said it first, because yes, it was all me. This is why I have such a great community. So yeah, I think what I'm going to go back in is I'm going to go back in with the darker, more purpley kind of color, and then we'll do the highlights up again and work from there. So since I'm going to need the airbrush for this one, and I'm going to need the airbrush for this guy, we're going to set all of these to the side, and tonight we're just going to work on the Warsuit. Hey, less than 80 followers, and I'll hit 2 grand on Instagram, and it only took 5 years. Well, unfortunately, I think everyone in this community probably is already following you, but just in case, is the all right, going to the Instagrams.com. And Health Child. All right, we gonna get this link here, and I'm going to post this in the chat. Oh, by the way there, you guys will notice not only have I been making changes on this channel, but because I've been thinking about going back to doing some either live streams or Let's Plays, you'll notice the Wolf Brother Gaming got a new logo as well. So, yeah, check it out when you get a chance. But using my Wolf Brother Gaming, I dropped a link to Hellchild's Instagram. And so, yeah, if anyone can help us get 1 or 2 subs a little closer for Hellchild to reach his 2K mark, then that would be amazing. Ooh, we are all kinds of out of focus here. Focus. Just really trying to focus on that door back there. How much you charge for logos, Mythos? Well, I'm going to be real honest with you. That one was done on the website called Placeit, which is the same service that I used for the intro, the new intro for Frost and Fists. And both the intro and the logo were both $9.95. So I would love to take credit, but yeah, that was a service. Hey, Oversoul Gaming says, consider me there. That's 1 sub closer to your goal, my brother. I guess on Instagram it's a follow, not a sub, but you know what I mean. Oversoul says, congrats, the numbers game struggle is real, and algorithms these days are unfair, to be honest. So yeah, anytime you can make headway like that, that's awesome. All right, we can start going in here. And one of the great things about having the base coat, you know, the not the base coat, because I've done all three tones, my mid-tone, highlight, and shade color for the blues. But the thing about having all that done is I can go in and just start carving out details, and every little detail that I hit from this point on will help the model feel a little more fleshed out. Like boom, right there. Start adding a little depth. Now, one thing which I know I probably overindulge, one thing I like putting on my Ultramarines are splashes of white color. Now, usually this denotes veterans on Ultramarines, and to be frank, I probably use more. I mean, maybe my particular army of Ultramarines is particularly composed of a lot of veterans, but honestly, I just like the you know, the look of when you add white to the already blue and gold color scheme of the Ultramarines. I think it just adds a really nice pop. Almost regal looking too. There's something, I don't know, almost noble feeling about when you see blue and gold and white all together. Which is probably why, you know, they use that color combination for their veterans. But because I like that color combination so much, I just keep using it on a bunch of stuff. Probably have seen that on my Dreadnought recently, on my Predator tank. I just kind of use that combination anywhere where I can fit it in. Oh. Speaking of which, since you asked about the logos, and you've been looking for a new intro anyways, I can tell you that this website Placeit does some extremely good work, and they're so like user friendly, like very intuitive to use. Placeit logo maker. Yeah, placeit.net. Yep. Yeah, there's the link to placeit.net. Like I said, they do logos, they do intro screens, outro screens. Like you can, there's just it's really a really well designed site for all kinds of like content creator tools. And they have all kinds of like different themes too, like, you know, especially with like music, you want to go in a more rock direction or whatever, or if you want to use your own custom music, like I know you have the song that was written for you, you know, like whatever you want to do, they're just very customizable. Very cool thing I saw on YouTube last night. Things have been a little tight this week, and so I haven't picked up the Power Wash Simulator 40K expansion yet, but I will. And last night I was watching the painting coach put out a video on how to paint an Ultramarines Land Raider, and I was like, cool, let me watch this. I like Land Raiders, I like Ultramarines, and so I watched his painting tutorial, and after that, or not after that, but during that, he said he was sponsored by Square Enix. who Lily had told me was the currently the publisher, whatever, for Power Wash Simulator. But I was, when I got into them, it was an indie developer and whatnot, and they didn't have the backing of Square Enix, and so I had forgotten. And Square Enix, is like one of my favorites because they make all the Final Fantasy games and stuff like that. So already I was kind of nerding out. And then the reason he was painting the Ultramarines Land Raider is because one of the things that you're washing in Power Wash Simulator is an Ultramarines Land Raider. And so it just felt like a very cool, almost surreal moment of crossover between video game and tabletop. Like you have a mission to paint this Land Raider in game, and also he's painting this exact same vehicle for the tabletop in this tutorial. It was very cool. I mean, and on top of that, when you think about it, for many of us, YouTube itself is also a hobby. And so it's like just a kind of a combination of, 3 hobbies and 3 fandoms, Yeah, that's pretty cool. Just trying to manipulate this around so I can get the insides of these pipes without making a mess. Trying not to get any splotches on this beautifully airbrushed blue that I've got going on, because if you've ever worked with airbrush stuff before, cleaning it up after you put all these layers into it is a pain in the butt. I hear that Helldivers 2 is the hot new commodity right now. Yeah, I see a lot of like Let's Players, and not only Let's Players, but people who do Warhammer content have been getting in on the Helldivers 2 content lately as well. And I think part of that is because of their Starship Troopers vibe to it. The Imperial Guard, the human soldiers in Warhammer 40k, they've got the same vibe as Starship Troopers anyways. In fact, a lot of people, whenever they think of Imperial Guard, the humans, versus the Tyranids, the bug aliens people, a lot of them go in quoting Starship Troopers, and some people even paint up their soldiers to look very Starship Troopers. And so it's all, a lot of cross fandoms there. And so because of that, a lot of people who are into Warhammer have been doing Helldivers 2 on their channel lately. I'm still smashing Diablo 4, and Season 3 just dropped the vampire powers from Season 3. Season 2, nice. I'm chipping my way through Persona 3 Reload, Banishers, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. I'm stacked right now. That's awesome. Oh, that's something I didn't cover in my poke chop, my hobbies done this week. So like I said, I started editing on Tuesday, and Sunday, after we filmed the battle report, it was kind of like a rest and recover day, because I had a blast hanging out with Brother Atlas all day on Saturday, but I think we were both exhausted by the end of it, because it was all day, like including time for like meals, just hanging out, sitting around. And a lot of it was waiting for the phone to charge, because trying to film every single dice roll, my phone kept dying on power over and over again. And by the time I noticed it originally, we were down to like 25% or something like that. And so we just spent the rest of the film day trying to catch up. We'd film a scene, and then we'd have to let the phone charge again a little, and then we'd film another scene, and then we'd have to let the phone recharge a little. It was a mess. So we were hanging out, which, like I said, I enjoy hanging out with Atlas, so it was kind of a blessing. Especially since I feel like I just really needed some extra hangout time lately, a little extra bro time. And so I was thankful, super thankful to hang out with that. But man, we hung out for 12 hours, and I think we were both exhausted by the end of it. Happy freaking Friday, X-Gear Commander, my man. Hope you're doing well, brother. But yeah, so after 12 hours of, hanging out, filming, and recording on Saturday, Sunday was a catch-up day, a relaxed day. It was, mostly relaxed. Now, here's what I did on Sunday. In addition to relaxing, I also finished saving Ferelden from the Darkspawn Blight, married a queen, and became the king consort of Ferelden. So, it was kind of a busy day, but like relaxing while I was doing it. Oh, I slew an archdemon. Six hours into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I'm still just outside of Calm, which is the town you start in. It's just so much to do in this game. 50 hours plus for the story, 75 to 100 plus for completionist. Nice. Huge leap compared to Remake, which is 3 times shorter. Oh, wow. Just talking to Brother Oversoul about how excited I am for 2, which means I need to go back in and finish playing the first chapter 1 of the remake. However, I've put it off for so long, I think I kind of gonna need to start over. You guys ever do that? You put down a game for so long that when you pick it back up, you're like, where even was I? What was the last thing that happened in the story? And you kind of feel the need to just go back and restart it because you feel a little lost. Although he said I was super close to the end, so if I can just push through the end, then I'll be caught up on that part. Then I need to do Crisis Core, and then I can go into Rebirth. But so I guess it depends on how lost I feel when I get back to it. Look at that. We got 4 guns done, and a little detail here, a little detail up top, and already this thing that was just solid blue a few minutes ago is starting to feel like it has more dimensions. Yes, I've definitely done that by starting one too many open world RPGs at once. Oh, I hate that. The open world, multiple ultimate open world RPGs will definitely do that. Not even multiple, just one if you walk away from it for too long. X-Gear says that's definitely how I feel with Borderlands 2. Speaking of Borderlands, which by the way, I freaking love Borderlands. Are you playing it on the computer, or are you playing it on console, X-Gear Commander? If you happen to be on PC and you need a buddy on Steam to help you to play with to get through the game, freaking love Borderlands. PC, all right, man. If you want to hit me up offline, man, I'll help you get through the game. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I feel like I get stuck on games like that because I just wander off or lose interest, something that helps get that interest back is having someone to play those games online with. So you want to share our Steam IDs and whatnot. Maybe we could hook up and play sometime because I freaking love Borderlands. And my lovely Lily and I started playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland on with Atlas this week. And I don't know if the sale is still going, but anyone who's interested in Tiny Tina's Wonderland, the Steam sale, at least the other day, was like 70% off or something like that. It was went from being 60 down to 15 bucks. Or if you want to get all the DLCs and get the whatever their deluxe edition is or whatever, the deluxe edition was only $5 more at $20, and so it was like $100 worth of content for $20. It was crazy savings. If you like starting from the beginning, X Gear Commander, you mean from the beginning as in Borderlands 1 or just restarting 2? Both of which are very valid options. I was telling Atlas, and it turns out we both had the same opinion, how we started the pre-sequel where you play as the villains before they turn villains with Handsome Jack and whatnot, and for some reason I just couldn't get into it. I didn't feel like the other Borderlands, if you know what I mean. Something just felt off. Restarting 2, that's cool. One, obviously, super iconic, started off such a great series. 2 is really good, adds like a really epic feel to the story. 3 has my favorite character ever, Amara, the siren from the third one. Super cool. I think I like her so much because she plays like a Vanguard from Mass Effect. Very much charge in and use her powers to punch you in the face. So on just a few of my special characters, like my Terminator Captain and Uriel Ventress, because he's got like a special named bolter, I did the red weapon casing. And I almost want to do it on this Invictor Tactical Warsuit here for the heavy bolter / pistol. However, I'm not sure I should, even though it would be cool, because for a stealthy kind of suit, I don't know if it would necessarily, you know, it make a lot of sense to have something that bright red. I was going to tell you to move so we know you didn't freeze. Oh, didn't freeze when you went quiet. I'm sorry. I didn't even know that I went quiet. Just sometimes when I get my focus face on, you know, when I'm painting, I don't even realize that I'm going quiet. I feel like I've been talking this whole time, but you know, like I said, when I get focused, sometimes it's just easy to not even realize that I've gone quiet. I definitely, and I feel like I'm getting better at it, but definitely I think I'm a little jealous of people who can do, like Pete from Mini Warzone, super good. Can crank out a 3-hour painting video of him, just like he likes to say, it's a paint along, talk about life, universe, miniatures, and anything in between. And man, he can do it. He can keep conversation interesting for the full, you know, length of the painting videos, and he'll do them back to back to back and have stuff to talk about all throughout it. And then I'm like, I think I'm talking. Oh wait, am I frozen again? Oh, sorry. Oh. Although sometimes we have found, my wife and I have found with my ADD, sometimes in my head I will have thought that I said things out loud. Apparently I just thought them really hard. And from what I've read, it is totally normal for this to happen with ADD. Because what one thing we'll do is you'll go through parts of the conversation in your head with how you expect it to go. And so you're already having a conversation without ever opening your mouth, right? Because your brain is filling in your part and their part and your part and their part. Unfortunately, when your brain goes into hyper mode, for some reason you'll even do this with stuff that there's a disagreement on. And so in your head, you're already having an argument about something that may or may not ever happen. Carving out them deets. I think Borderlands 2 is the most popular because of Handsome Jack. See, and that's why it interests me that for some reason I just really don't like the pre-sequel. You would think that a game starring Handsome Jack would just be like all about it, but for some reason I can't make myself. So far, I haven't been able to make myself like that one. I do think, though, if I find someone that's willing to play that one with me, playing that one co-op and, having a few laughs with a friend will make that one more enjoyable. All right. I was initially, and you guys tell me if I'm overthinking this, okay? I was initially going to do, because, like, on my Redemptor, like, all of the, like, connecting bits, like the arms, the legs where there's not armor plates and stuff like that, they're all silver in those areas, and just the blue armor plates stand out. And I was thinking about, because this is a stealth suit, or stealth mech, I guess, doing those bits black instead of silver. But if I do mostly black and not very much silver, is it going to lose visual interest, do you think? Is it going to look like just too much is an absence of color as opposed to, as if I did it like the skeleton silver? What do you guys think? I mean, there's probably still parts I could do in black to, give like some of the camo or the stealth kind of feel. Like there's this little like in between bit for the art. Whoop. We're actually painting things silver here. It doesn't matter because it's going to be either black or silver, but like this in between bit can still be black if I choose to do like the skeleton silver. Black would be fine. I always think I answer someone, but then catch them looking at me like I haven't. So then I get stuck because I don't want to say what because I don't know. Yeah, I understand that feeling. You feel stuck because you don't know if you should ask them to repeat themselves, or if you should, or if you should just repeat what you said to make sure that you said it. But then what if you end up saying it twice? Well, I think one thing, I know you said black would be fine, and one thing I know is that black is always a great base coat for silver anyways. So I could just move on to blacking it all. And yeah, blacking it all, and then if I need a silver things to make things pop, or do a dark silver, yeah. Let me black things in and then see where that looks, and then I'll make a move from there. For the mesh, I think I do want to do the border plates as silver. On my white scars when I did the mesh here, because it's like textured, so it's not like a smooth screen. It's like almost like it's almost like a mesh kind of texture, or I don't know. I imagine it being reinforced in some kind of way. I just wouldn't know what kind of material to call it. I'm sure it's not like your screen door kind of mesh, because, you know, then anybody could just shoot right in through at you. I don't think, in any case, I am going to do it as... I can't decide if I'm going to like the mesh better, gray or black. My White Scars one is black. I think I'm going to start at a nice dark gray like Mechanicum. And if that doesn't work, then we'll make it black later. So basically the same plan as the silver. I almost want, gosh, I almost want to say that I should do the mesh black as well. But then if I make all the armor bits black, or all the skeleton bits black, that might just be because there's so much surface area here to the cockpit. So if I make the cockpit black and the skeleton black, I feel like that just might be too much absence of color. You know what I mean? Of course, doing that much absence of color will make all these beautiful blue highlights pop out. So who knows? Who knows? I'm just going to paint stuff and see what sticks. I'm starting with a lighter color because it'll be easier to go darker than it is to make a dark paint go lighter. As I know from my experience painting so many White Scars. Oh my goodness. Do the skeleton bits like a Vallejo jet exhaust where it's metallic but still muted like black from Stealth. That is a good idea. I should probably pick up... I am out of my dark metallics right now. I should probably pick some of that up because that sounds like it would be a good idea. So I was watching some video tutorials this week. The Judiciar we painted last week, I finished up this week, did the snow basing, and one effect I really ended up enjoying is the hourglass. I kind of went for like a frosty kind of hourglass. And so I was watching a tutorial, and what they did was they built up layers of Dawnstone, Null Oil glaze, a little more Dawnstone, Null Oil, glaze a smaller area, Dawnstone, Null Oil, glaze a smaller area, and that really made a nice like glass kind of effect. I was really impressed. And then after I did that, I added a little area where I wanted, you know, some of this blue stuff to glow, and so I went in with really thin glazes of white, and then went over the top with, is this Frostheart? Pilar Glacier. Built up layers of that, and then I filtered over that with just a little bit of Vallejo Fluorescent Blue. And yeah, really love the way this came out, and it'll be ready in time. I'm putting him, usually when I take my big squad of 15 Blood Claws, actually this time I'm taking 10. But usually when I have a big squad of Blood Claws, I have my man Calm Dragon Gaze leading them. At least in the last couple games. But this time, because you can only have one named character, and for my named character, I'm taking Murder Fang. I decided to put my Judiciary with him because he gets some powerful attacks with that Executioner sword. And then also because he'll give the Blood Claws fight first. So I think that'll be cool. One thing, oh, I'm painting off screen. I'm sorry, guys. One thing I would like to point out is normally I do a power sword effect on my power swords, but I don't know why. I guess maybe part of it is just that, you know, the blade is resting behind his neck, and I didn't want a burning white hot energy field cooking, you know, his helmet right back here. Which some people paint the backside of his head here as skin, which I didn't want. You know, I wanted it to all be helmet, so I painted it all as the same material. Yeah, so maybe instead of having the burning white hot back there, I wanted a regular blade. But then also, like, I don't know why, but just, I guess the shape of this sword really, in my mind, lent itself to the idea of, like, being like a very like a utility kind of blade, a very functional, that's the word, very just functional blade, like beat to hell, but reliable, you know, hard edge. Also, kind of, Oversoul. Doesn't that look like the hard edge from Final Fantasy VII? It kind of reminds me of the hard edge with that squared blade look. I mean, the hard edge was almost like a flattened, like, you know, construction beam on the sword handle, but that really gives me like hard edge kind of vibes. Anyway, so from that same idea of it just being like a very functional, cruel, brutal piece of weaponry, I used my hobby knife to shave some extra chips and dents in it and stuff like that, and really just kind of weathered it up with some streaking grime and a little bit of the Mr. Hobby black wash, and a little bit of like very thin glazes of rust effect, and then thin glazes of silver over that, so it will look like not like fresh rust, but just like, you know, like weathered, and like somebody's been constantly cleaning it off, but like, yeah, very chipped, bloodied, you know, work put in with this sword. It's not fancy. This one's not one of the polished swords that the captains use. This is just a brutal executioner's weapon. That's kind of the effect I wanted to do it with. Do it with the silver and then tint it with Black Legion contrast, same effect. Okay, cool. Ah, yes, the hard edge gets a bit of a redesign and remake. Not a perfect rectangle anymore. The tip curves out a bit on either side with like tiny hooks. Interesting. I don't know why, but that design of the hard edge just really stuck with me after seeing it in my youth. There we go. Oh, you know, I think I picked this up at some point when I was playing. Anyone's interested? Interesting. I don't know why that messed up, but let's unlock that. We're fixing it live, fam. We're fixing it live. We'll do it live. No technical issues here. There we go. Guys, got it on the first... Oh, wait, no. Nope. There we go, guys. Fixed it on the first try. Alright. It's the last weapon you get as part of the story. That's pretty much... I pretty much used the Buster Sword the whole time. Okay. In fact, we'll click on this. So this is... Nope, that just made it worse for some reason. I don't know why, but... Okay, well. Haha! Okay, so that's the design of the hard edge in this one. Originally, back in the day, it was like a perfect rectangle. Like I said, somebody flattened a construction beam. But this one actually looks a little more swordy, I guess. That's cool. Back to tabletop. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you can upgrade your weapons remake, and hard edge only weapon with a higher strength than the Buster Sword, but at the cost of the other stats. I play offensively, so I prioritize attack. Yeah, exactly. Man, I also play offensively. I love just... I pretty much live in the form in 7 that you can use where you're just like basically cranking out heavy attacks. Form, stance, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, it's been a long time, so. Oh, also, after freeing all of Ferelden Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, I played some more of Final Fantasy 16. And like I said, I am at the end of the game. But man, a million side quests open up right at the end of the game. So that's kind of what I've been doing. Is first I'm cranking out all those end of game side quests. And then I'm going to do the hunts. And then, because you need materials from the hunts to make, you know, the legendary sword at the end of the game. So then I'm going to do a little crafting and get my ultimate weapon from the mats from the higher tier hunts. And then I'm going to go on and finish the game. So. And we don't have much planned this weekend because one of my daughters is going to be out with her friends this weekend. And normally we try and put off, like, you know, trips to go out and whatnot together until, you know, all of us can go out together. So since we'll more than likely be at home, I'm going to try and put in some more Final Fantasy 16 time. Alright, that doesn't look bad with the gray. Does look a little flat. I kind of dig it. Could leave the struts blue if I leave the panels gray. But then should I go in there and add some kind of gradient? Actually, see, the thing is that like I said, the material is like textured in kind of a mesh design, and so I'm not sure going in there and putting in like a windshield kind of gradient would be the right move, because then the texture wouldn't match the paint scheme. But I don't want to leave it just flat. Maybe if I just go in there and reshade the whole bit, you know, it'll make it look a little more, I don't know. That's Future Mythos' problem. We'll leave it gray for now. Maybe just some spot highlights with gray sear. Do some center panel highlights, at least on the big ones. Yeah, maybe airbrush some highlights in the big panels here and go for like the center of the panel, and then just try and glaze in on the smaller panels. And then that'll get me that touch of white that I've been trying to put in on all my models. Sometimes you just gotta let, you know, the model tell you what colors you're gonna paint it. 16 now has a DLC where you can fight Omega Weapon, and then there's a DLC for Leviathan coming later this year. Nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed Game of Kaiju Thrones deals. I don't know what the fan base says. It was good, and Sid is the dad from which? From the witch? I'm lost. The dad from the witch. I'm not familiar with the witch, I don't think. But I did enjoy Sid as a father figure. He was a great guy. It's blue, dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee dabba die. Dark Light Dreamer, it is good to see you, my brother. It's pronounced witch, but spelled with two V's to make a W. Okay, I was making sure I was seeing that correctly. Interesting. Ah, A24 horror film. Gotcha. How are you, Darklight Dreamer? How is one of my favorite people in the absolute universe? All right, time to break out our very fancy paint palette. The Lobster Bisque paint palette. What brand palette do you use? Lobster Bisque. And time for my favorite black on the market. My favorite matte black. Very, very good stuff. Okay, start going in with some details. I'm so hungry I had vending machines lunch today. Oh no. Didn't pack a lunch today, I guess. I splurged a little bit on lunch this week and bought a bunch of boar's head meats from Kroger. And if you guys have never had it, Like, boar's head sandwich meats take your sandwiches to the next level. So if you are serious about sandwiches, boar's head is amazing. And on one hand, I spent way too much at the deli. But on the other hand, like when you break down the cost per sandwich, it was like only $3.50 a sandwich. And these weren't cheap sandwiches either. I made some Scooby-Doo size sandwiches. Now, I know I didn't explain how I jumped trains so quickly there, so the reason I jumped to sandwiches is because I've been with Darklight Dreamer when he packs his lunches for work before, and Darklight Dreamer sometimes packs these badass sandwiches that are also in the realm of Scooby-Doo sandwiches for lunch. And so, those were my connecting trains, guys. I realize sometimes I don't take the class with me as part of the field trip when I jump trains from subject to subject to subject. Sounds like you're funkin' hungry. Yeah, still saves you money in the long run compared to other lunch options. Absolutely. So you spend like $26 on boar's head sandwich meats, but when you break down the cost to, like, you know, you're getting massive Scooby-Doo sandwiches for, you know, like $3-4 a sandwich, it's still saving you money. Just gotta look at it that way. And I got some salami and pastrami, some Black Forest ham, and some Kaiser rolls, because a good crunchy, I like a good crunchy and crusty hard bread. You know, crunchy on the outside, hard on the, soft on the inside. Like a true professional, just dipped my thumb there in the wet paint. Oh, for anyone who's going to be watching the battle report that Atlas and I are putting out this coming week, there is a part where I've lost some footage and am basically using my thumbnail making skills to explain to you what happened that turn in crowns. So please look forward to that. If you guys are ready to see me make a fool of myself, this is one of the ways that I'm going to do it. I had a really good, I'm guessing a really good bit from the local deli the other day. First time trying the place, and I'm definitely going back. Nice. Very nice oversoul. Oh. I missed this exchange in the chat. I had a chicken strip basket from Dairy Queen with the new rainbow shake. Ooh, that sounds tasty. And that filled me up pretty well. So for dinner, I just had a flatbread toaster oven pizza. It sounds delicious. Need to hit up the grocery store, but I had to pay rent. You know how it be. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Sounds like you're all funkin' hungry. I am punkin' hungry. Not pumpkin, but not funkin'. Oh, man. I'm in the habit of cooking more than I need, so I have leftovers. Then sometimes I run into the problem of wasting leftovers if there's too much. Ah, yes. It especially having kids, Your mindset definitely has to change. But like, I used to get so mad about wasting food because I guess I was raised where, Darklight and I would like literally get punished for wasting food. In fact, that's how we first found out that, well, the first hint we had that I was allergic to onions because I thought I just didn't like onions, and there was onions on my plate as a kid, and so my donor made me keep eating the onions, and it was just making me sick. And yeah, and so that was a rinse lather repeat situation, and so I just kept getting more sick. And then it turns out a few years later we discovered that I actually am allergic to onions. But he was like, "We don't waste food in this house," and he'd do things like swat the back of my head and stuff like that. And yeah, it turns out I couldn't help it because I was allergic. Yes, I want bread so crunchy and crusty I want it to cut my gums a little bit. Yes, that is the perfect bread for sandwiches, Darklight. Like, and I think that's why, like, when people do, sandwiches on like TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, they always start out with like crushing their bread and it making that crunchy sound. Yeah. Classic BLT, nice. Very nice. I love BLTs. They had epic bacon sandwich on French bread the other day. That was good. Yum. I wonder if this chicken Alfredo from last week is still good. Yeah. Why would I like something that tastes like sulfur? Oh yeah, so what Darklight's referring to is that because of my allergy, to onions actually, like, I think it's the doctor said it deadens my taste buds, and so like when I eat onions, it tastes sulfury, and then anything I eat after that for a little bit continues to taste sulfury. And I always thought it was just like a lingering onion flavor, but it's because it was deadening my taste buds. And so yeah, so I kept complaining about the taste of, like, the way matchsticks smell. And yeah, when my dad was making me, force feeding me the onions, making me keep eating them. Hey, yo, what's up? I'm at work, but wanted to give you some love. Thank you, Brother Roxas. Welcome to the chat. I hope you have an amazing night at work. I like all bread. I don't discriminate. I like some more than others. Yeah, I am not as big into, say, classic, sliced sandwich bread. I am bougie. I do like the fancier breads more. So I have this memory as a kid where I love salami, but I had to stop eating salami sandwiches for a while because I have this memory as a kid where, we would sometimes, we would have quote unquote lunch in the field in the school I went to, and my school was like, even though it was an elementary school, it took place on a military base, and so a lot of things were like kind of like, themed around that. And anytime we'd have a quote unquote field lunch, usually it took place like outside, which in nice weather was great, and even cold weather was great. But in the warmer days, sometimes we'd be out there, and those little, even though they looked amazing, those little plastic rectangular lunch boxes were not very well insulated. And so anyways, I have this memory where one of my favorite sandwiches, a salami sandwich, specifically salami on sliced bread, sliced white bread. Like, I think the sandwich had gone bad in the heat that day, and the sandwich, made me sick. And then after that, for like the longest time, I couldn't make myself eat salami on white bread. And still, like, if I have a choice these days, I still would prefer it not be on sandwich bread. But yeah, that's just because I have a bad memory associated with it. I'm a generic white bread kind of guy. I live in a poor part of Illinois. I can afford better stuff. now, but I still buy store brand out of habit. I'm looking to spend as little as possible. Well, that's understandable. There's a lot of stuff that for the same reason I still buy store brand, but like with breads, you know, I don't. It's a little bit of a splurge, but it doesn't really feel like it because, you know, like I go to Walmart and I get the Kaiser rolls that are like, you know, 3 for $1. You know, and even though I know that's only going to make me 3 sandwiches, I'm like, 3 for $1, that's cheap, right? So when you work out the cost versus, you know, buying sliced sandwich bread, of course, you know, there's no competition. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, 3 for $1, that's cheap. I think that's just because I'm trying to, like, you know, justify it to myself. Man, cooked onions are so good. I wish, you know, like I love the way onions smell, and people. Well, one thing that motivates me to want to try new foods is what other people say about a food, right? And so, like, because people always talk about how delicious onions are, makes me want to try onions. But you know, just they don't taste good to me because to me they just taste like, you know, old matchsticks. And then on top of that, you know, they make my face swell. They make me start gagging and stuff like that. So there's this one time, my kids love when I tell Cloud stories. So our best friend at the time, Cloud, was working at Whataburger, and because of his schedule with his new job, whereas we were hanging out like every day on the weekends, we'd gone like 6 or 7 weekends not hanging out because just it didn't coincide, you know, that didn't work out with the hours he had on his schedule. So finally, we decided, well, you know what? We're not letting this friendship go, so we're going to go hang out on his break, you know, at I think it was like his lunch break was like after the dinner rush, so like 9:30 in the evening on a Friday night. And so we went to go visit him. And Whataburger has, you know, fried onions. I think they were onion petals. I don't remember. And anyway, so onion petals being like onion rings, but in petal form instead of ring form, right? And anyways, so me and Razzie got normal combos, fries, sandwich, drink. And Cloud got these onion petals instead of fries. And they just smelled so good. And he had got them right out of the fryer. And he and Darklight are talking about it. And, you know, how good they are. And how fresh they are. And how delicious they are. And I'm smelling it. It smells good. Like I said, I love the way cooked onions smell. I just can't have them. And anyways... so they're passing them back and forth. When Cloud worked there, he used to do what he called clouder sizing stuff, where he would, you know, just like overfill, you know, if this was like if this was like the container that your fries go in, he would like overfill, and he somehow would make the stack just fine and make it like a mountain or have like a bunch of extra bag fries. And he did this with the onions, so he had a large order of onion rings, but they were like so stacked it was like an order and a half of onions. So they were just sharing onion rings, and they're talking about it, making them sound good, making them smell good in front of me. And so just to get some of the taste, I reach over with the intention of just eating the bread off of this onion, right? I wasn't gonna like eat the onion, but anyways. Like they were still hot to the touch. Like he had got them literally out of the fryer before going on his break. And I pick up this very hot onion ring, or onion petal, whatever it was, and I pull it towards me. And Cloud, he's sitting across from me, he gets this look, wide eyes, like I think he thinks I'm gonna like just eat it and make myself sick, and being very compassionate and worried about me. His eyes go super wide, and he rears back his hand just like he was about to pimp slap a fool, and slaps that onion right out of my hand. Actually, it was an onion ring, not an onion petal, because I remember this next part like super clearly. It goes all the way across the restaurant and lands on this guy who's got like a horseshoe kind of bald pattern going on, where he's fighting to keep the longish hair here, and it just lands right in the middle where the skin is. This hot ass onion ring right on top of his head. And the guy's like, ow! He's like slapping it off, and he looks back to glare at us. And Cloud, I don't know how he does this all the time. Somehow he is super believable to people who don't know him. And Cloud, maybe it was because he was in uniform, he leans back and he points to this like somewhat loud group of like teenagers next to us. And he's like, and the guy gets so mad. And he says something, aggravated to that table. it was like we didn't do nothing. And he's just like, but then after the guy turns back, we all lean in, and he's like, dude, what the hell? Why are we gonna eat an onion? Are you trying to make yourself sick? It's like, no, don't eat it, bro. He's like, dude, don't make me have to clock out to take your ass to the hospital. I'm like, I'm fine. I was just gonna eat the bread, and I'm not. What's the word? When you can't breathe. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not deathly allergic. I'm not going to go to anaphylactic shock. I get like hitch. My face swells up. It is very uncomfortable, and it looks horrible. But yeah, I'm not deathly allergic. That is cool. It's cool to have someone care about you that much. I mean, he pimp slapped it out of my hands. I do tease him because I'm like, I feel like, most people would have just said something like, nah, don't do it, brah. He full on pimp slap. It was hilarious and awesome. Yes, anaphylactic. That's the word, Oversoul. Thank you. Another similar incident I had, we were at TGI Fridays, and I don't really like speaking up about my allergy when I'm out to eat at restaurants and stuff like that, because onions are like the most common food seasoning in the world. Every culture in the world uses it. Every culture in the world loves it. And, so I'm like the oddity. And so I try not to make a big deal. I'll say things like, can I get that with no onions? But that's usually the extent of it. I don't usually go into the whole like, hey, I'm allergic, be careful. And also, in my opinion, I've come to find that most of the time when you go out of your way to say the extra stuff like, hey, I'm allergic, be careful, most of the time people don't care. Like, they'll treat it just as, oh, shit! Saved it. Ah, the mythos tongue to the rescue. It's not the first time I've said that. We got a huge bright spot of silver on that beautifully airbrushed shoulder pad for a second there. But we saved it. Anyways, we're at TGI Fridays. I don't usually like making a big deal out of being allergic, so I'll say once, hey, can I get that with no onions? And my fiance, wife, I can't remember where we were at the time, but the lady who would eventually be or was my wife, and watch, she probably could be mad at me for not knowing the difference right now. She had, I had ordered, of course, a nice big steak with potatoes, and they were like, hey, we have a special on loaded mashed potatoes right now. And I'm like, okay, what's in that? And they're like, well, it comes with, bacon, sour cream, cheddar. I was like, do onions come on that? They're like, nah, pretty sure not, but nah. And my wife is like, well, can you double check on that? Because my husband's allergic. Husband, boyfriend, fiance, I can't remember where we were. We were on our path to getting where we are now. We were on the path to having a beautiful and amazing family. Hopefully that won't get me in trouble. But yeah, so she's like, hey, he's like, allergic. Can you really make sure? And so he's like, yeah, I'll go check with the manager. Cool. And so he puts in our order. And some time goes by, we're just chatting. He comes back, he refills our drinks. He's like, hey, y'all's food should be out in like 5 minutes or whatever. It's getting close. Glad someone appreciates my vocabulary knowledge. Most people just roll their eyes at my words. Oh no, I love extended vocabularies. I used to before, at some point, I guess I stopped trying, but I used to do the same. Always have try and use, more words, bigger words, just because I enjoyed them. But somewhere I've simplified my vocabulary. But anyways, yeah, he's like, your food will be out in a few minutes, and Lily reminds him, hey, did you have a chance to ask your manager about those loaded potatoes? Because he is allergic. I'm like, I'm trying to play it off. It's not a big deal. It's a minor allergy. And she's like, please check. And so, but he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure there are no onions in it. And, anyways, so then our food comes out, and he's not the one who brings out our food. Sometimes when kitchens get backed up, just whatever server is available will bring out your food. And that's what happened here. And so, they're like, they drop off the food. They're like, enjoy your meal. I'm like, oh man, these look great. And the last thing I remembered the server saying is that, I'm pretty sure there's none in it, but, I'll make sure to ask my manager. And one of the few times where I started with the sides instead of going straight in for the steak, those loaded potatoes smelled amazing. And, they were all loaded up, cheese, sour cream, all kinds of good stuff. And so I started to go for a bite of the mashed potatoes. And then I didn't feel him come up behind me. I didn't know what was going on. Just all of a sudden, I'm lifting the fork to my mouth, and some unseen force takes my hand and slams my fork back down to the table. Right? I'm starting to get up to fight already. I'm like halfway rising because I didn't know what was going on. Just something slammed my hand down to the table. It was one of those hard slams too, where you hear a rattling of all the cups on the table. And I'm like, before I could get out, a WTF. He's like, I'm so sorry. I just got done talking to my managers, and they were those potatoes are full of onions. So he apparently had talked to his manager, gotten worried, and rushed back over to my table in time for a dramatic stopping and putting my hand down from the potatoes that were on their way to my mouth. So he got a nice size tip that day. I think I tipped him $20. Yes, that was definitely, again, I appreciated him showing concern for my allergy. That was pretty cool. And my wife was always like, see, this is why you should tell people more often about your allergy. And I'm like, but babe, I've worked at restaurants before. People don't care. They're in their mind, you say no onions, and they'll think to themselves, okay. And then you say, seriously, he's allergic. And they'll say, Yeah, I got it. No onions. Even though sometimes they may or may not have it. Mini War Mutt. Good to see you, my brother. Damn it, cuss words are words too. Good to see you guys. Yes, there were green onions in that one. That one apparently had green onions and some caramelized onions that I didn't see, but like it was all mixed in with the cheese and stuff like that. Man, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. I feel like I'm making some great progress on this warsuit here. I keep wanting to say dreadnought, but it is specifically not a dreadnought. Those who don't know the lore for Warhammer, a dreadnought in the 40k universe is often not in addition to being a big, awesome, stompy mech, it's also a life support system for people who have suffered mortal wounds. And so they're basically, as they're often referred to, as walking sarcophaguses. The difference between a dreadnought and like this particular mech, even though they're similar in design, is that this warsuit here has a living pilot. And so it's actually a vehicle, whereas the pilots of a dreadnought are entombed in their sarcophagus within the dreadnought. So, because of that life support, suspended animation kind of state, the pilots of dreadnoughts are often kind of in a living dead kind of situation. They are neither dead nor alive. And often, because every time they awaken in this undead state, they lose a little bit of themselves. And so, often a lot of them will just, because they're basically, the only part of their body left is brain activity, right? And so, that starts to wear out after some time. And so, after they've been alive for, several hundred years in this half living, half dead state, they get tired kind of down to the soul, and they start sleeping for longer and longer periods because, again, they're overusing the only piece of their body left of their brain. Where's the sexy beast Freak? Well, my brother, Freak is now on his own channel. Well, he and Oni share a channel, rather. And you can find them in our link tree below at V-Twin Gaming. They've started a channel together. It's a new hobby channel, and it's named V-Twin Gaming after their love for motorcycles. Freak has been really inspired lately and has already put out, I think, 3 or 4 different videos on the journey to airbrushing. So definitely some good content to watch there. I used to cook there, and I knew where that was headed. Oh, okay. Glad I went grocery shopping today, because this new food talk with Mythos show is making me hungry. Man, as a fat man, I could talk about food all day. I don't mean to brag, but I've been eating all my life. The walker lets them go on vacation and not make them go into induced comas. Exactly. At Hellchild, glad he's branching out. Markiplier made a movie. Mythos has a cooking show. I actually do have about an hour's worth or more of footage of me making a pork sandwich called a Wargamer sandwich, because what had happened is when we were part of the Chilling Wargamers network, Spud, one of the heads of the Chilling network, did a Wargamer sandwich challenge. And so I put all these videos together, and I just never edited them into a solid video, because the challenge kind of fell through. Like, I think 3 people did it, but like, I know myself, Spud, and a couple others never actually followed through with making the video. I made the sandwich. The family and I loved the sandwich. I still have all of the footage for my Wargamer sandwich at the time, which was a beautiful pulled pork sandwich. You know, it's a non-barbecue style, like an Asian style pulled pork sandwich, and it was absolutely delicious. And if you guys want me to revive any of that lost footage, I was looking around. I was looking around my Google Drive, and I still have the footage to the Wargamer sandwich. So if anyone's interested in what I had made for my Wargamer sandwich challenge, let me know. I might publish that video at some point. My wife wants me to do a nail art video, but I want a couple Warhammer vids first. That would be cool. Yeah, that would be real cool. We can do a cooking show one night, Mythos. That would be awesome. Spud, like the potato. This just gets better and better. Okay, so Spud, I'm not sure where he got the name from, but yeah, Spud is what we've always known him by, or what, like, us here have always known him by. Yeah, I think he's Warbear. Yeah, Warbear or something now. Well, let us check the link tree, because I do have him on my link tree. Yes, leave YouTube, go to site. He is Wargamer Bear. He changes his name more than anyone. Hey, sometimes we're just feeling a different identity. I went and come back, and you're talking about sandwiches still. This is a new sandwich discussion, I promise. Oh man. All right, guys. I hate to be super unprofessional, but we're still going to do Art of the Week. But as we transition to Art of the Week, I am going to step away for just 1 second. So talk amongst your beautiful selves, and I will be literally right back in just a few seconds. Every turn. I apologize for that. Look, man, we get it. When nature calls, you have to answer. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. I mean, I tend to drink a lot because of the diabetes, and also diabetes makes me go to the bathroom. So, Mythos does have a food channel. It's called Funk. Oh, you know what? I don't know if you're interested in a long video, in a cooking video, Funkin' Hungry, but if you're interested, like I said, I do have that Wargamer sandwich video that I could put together. I don't know if you want a cooking video on Funkin' Hungry, but you know, you're welcome to it. Sweet. Oh yeah, I'll put it together, brother. So am I going to be called sexist if I paint female pilots Gundam pink or what? I don't know. I think my wife almost got mad at me for painting Sisters of Battle pink just because they were girls. I'll hold it at the movie theater, but during a live stream, sorry folks, the bathroom is just 5 feet away. I'm going. You right, my brother. You right. That is totally fair. All right, you know, I'm thinking. This is 100% stolen idea, by the way, but Pickle Jar and Hobby Corner Kev both have their own twists on Art of the Week. Hobby Corner Kev has he's the Hobby Corner, so he's got the Corner Community Showcase. Anyways, they've got fancy intros, kind of like I have the intro to my videos and my live stream. They've got one specifically for going on to Community Corner, and the Pickle Jars one is called Loki Approved. Loki is his cat, and so that's kind of cute. He's even got a logo of the cat stamping approved. That's pretty cool. It's not theft if it's inspiration. Exactly. So inspired by then, I think I want to make myself a cool little like fancy intro to Art of the Week. Taking inspiration from my fellow hobbyists. You could do a video on those nachos as well. Those look so good. Ah, the walking taco nachos. I love those, and I would be happy to do a video on those. Don't call it Houston art or it'll get all the wrong submissions. That's fair. That's fair. Tacos! I would definitely get some taco content. Would definitely get some views from Mini Warmutt. I think a lot of us are taco lovers too, though. Totally doesn't steal ideas from Markiplier and Game Grumps. That's fair. You know, even, okay, so my outro to the show, the grab up an ox and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor, is massively inspired by Jacksepticeye. And he doesn't do it so much now. But I've just always loved the outro where he has you punch the like button in the face like a boss. And high fives all around. And I'll see all you dudes in the next video. I just love his outro. Oh, it's so much hype. But yeah, so my outro is massively inspired by the great Jacksepticeye, whose coffee I now drink on a regular basis. The big three have really mellowed out and matured in recent years. Absolutely. I was just about to mention something that I was inspired by one of you, and now it's totally left my brain, but I will make sure to give you guys credit if I think of it in a little bit. But now we're going to move on to Art of the Week. So first, we're going to go move on to Articles in Art. And Chrome Oh man, I have not set up my messenger yet, so I hope I don't have anything inappropriate here. All right, so art of the week this week. Some amazing people sending in some art of the week here. So we're going to jump right in, and the first submission we have for art of the week. By the way, art of the week is for all forms of hobby. So even if a non-tabletop gamer like yourself, Oversoul, ever want to share something that you're proud of that you've done in the hobby this week, I would happily take screenshots of your trophies or anything else that you've done in your hobby for art of the week. We just love sharing the hobby loves, man. So if you ever want to submit anything for art of the week, let me know. Send it over to me. And yeah, we just like doing this little community corner here where we celebrate what other people are doing in the hobby. Chrome says no. No, it's up on the screen. I'm looking at it now. Make me panic like that. Busting out some Fallout lately. Oh yeah, I've seen the content go up. I need to catch up on your videos, but dude, I'm a big Fallout fan, so I'm looking forward to that. G the Hyper Sapien has the newest war boss out from the book trilogy from Black Library, Uftak Blackhawk. Best I can do is dope screenshots from photo modes in games. The art is actually, the art I actually make is video. Yeah, true, absolutely. So this is an up-close shot of his war boss so far. Loving the variety of greens in the skin, my brother. And I definitely love that you've already got the inside of the mouth painted up. Well, at least, started. I know you'll probably do 1,000 more layers after this, but it is looking good so far, brother. And I love that you always do like a variety of greens in your green skins. So yeah, I'm loving that, brother. I love how you're really making like all the details in the veins and the musculature pop out. It's looking great, brother. If something catches your interest, that works too. Oh, exactly. So when we do art of the week, a lot of it is what the community members have done themselves, but some of it is stuff that they've come across online that has inspired them. So like somebody else's painting or modeling or something else that somebody else has done. So yeah, so it doesn't always just have to be your own stuff either. But yeah, I'm happy to share anything you want to share, brother. Yeah, looking schmexy, brother, looking schmexy. I really love like his gun squig and the hammer here. The hammer really, and I don't know if anybody else get this vibes, or if anybody else, because I'm starting to feel like, Halo 3 was a long time ago and people don't know the old school Halos anymore, but this really reminds me of the gravity hammer. Like if you had a more brutal looking version of the gravity hammer from Halo, this is kind of what it reminds me of. Or a more, the brute hammer. Yeah, like if you had a more low-tech version. That orc wants all the pizza. Speaking of pizza, as I was clearing out my Google Drive, I came across the pizza review I did for the Knights of the Round Pizza over at Funkin' Hungry. So if anyone is interested in me doing a pizza review, check out Funkin' Hungry's channel and you will see me. I've got 2 food reviews over on Funkin' Hungry. But yeah, definitely love that like really cool brute hammer looking thing. It's very upbeat and fun, even though I made it when upset. I think some of your best content is when you get upset at the content, honestly. I love seeing you do like the crazy stuff or the scary stuff. Round Table Pizza, yeah. Now, who turned you on to that place? That was a Hellworks recommendation for sure. Dude, I can't wait to see what you do more with that, because I love your paint work and it is looking good so far. Funkin' Hungry slash G the Hyper Sapien also has this knob here, and look how professional that looks. Dude, that is some top tier like display painting stuff here. Like, I don't know what they have in Australia, you know, whether it's if you have an equivalent or analog to, you know, Slayer Sword, Crystal Brush, Golden Demon, but that looks like an entry to something professional like that, man. I love like the scarring and the you know, the way you've got like the flesh tones for the lips and the ears, the base of the elbows. This is all these skin transitions look so professional. Absolutely legendary work. Mythos is great at food reviews. Oh, you are too kind, my brother. Yeah, stuff like Cuphead and horror games have funny reactions, but Persona 5 Royale music video I made, like genuinely my greatest video editing accomplishment, came through in pure passion, from pure passion. Dude, I can't wait to see that. Did I tell you that I recently picked up Persona 5 Royal on Steam sale? So it is on my list after Persona 3. So this is another one, like I said, this one definitely looks paint competition worthy. So I don't know what you got going on in Australia, but I would definitely submit this to some kind of competition. You know, when you're done with it, obviously. We've got Ravensrook Miniatures, another friend of the show, absolute legend. Both G the Hyper Sapien, Funkin' Hungry, and Ravensrook are all in our link tree to the Friends of the Frost and Fist below. Please check them out. Work continues on my Castellan Knight. I want to get one of these big boy knights for my Imperial Knight army. The Castellan is so cool. I really like the Valiant too, with that. I've always loved melta weapons and that big ass spear that it has. A massive harpoon cannon. The idea of a harpoon cannon is just so pimp. And I would love to do something with it like I've seen other people do. One of my friends named Glass, who used to go to the store, the local game store here, back when we used to do the show at the store, he did a conversion where he didn't have the harpoon loaded, like, you know, the directions say to make the harpoon loaded in the cannon. He actually had installed a chain in the cannon and had the harpoon that he bought a legit dreadnought and busted it up to put it on the base of this knight, and put the spear in the busted up dreadnought, and had the slack chain going from the dreadnought to the dreadnought, like from the dreadnought to the knight's cannon, where like he had just pulled him over. And I thought that was like the coolest thing. And so I want to absolutely steal that idea, like, I don't know, 5 years later or something. Definitely want to do that. Oversoul Gaming has fantastic music videos. I want to see the Persona one, but if you guys are into horror games, he did a music video for Resident Evil 7, and it is legit one of my favorite music videos of all time. Like, I still go back and jam to it like regularly. Like, it is on I have a saved music playlist for me to just jam to when I'm like doing other stuff, driving, painting, whatever. And his music video for that is on my jam list. It is called, of course, you're going to look up Oversoul Gaming. You're going to look up Resident Evil 7. Actually, no, I'm just going to link you the video, guys. It is just too good for me not to share the video with you. Yeah, I know it's not one of your solo ones like Plague Tale and whatnot. I'm just sharing my favorite one so far. And to be fair, I haven't watched the Plague Tale one yet. This one is called Epidemic. I'm trying to share that to the wrong location. Okay, here we go. This is Epidemic. The song is by Funky Hurdles. The music video is made by Oversoul Gaming. And this is from his playthrough, so definitely please check that out. Oh, you're just giving context. Yeah, that's cool, brother. But that music video is so good. Like, honestly, literally, like, it is well timed to the music. The edits are like super pimp. You know, it's just he makes the video and the music add up perfectly. Like, it's just chef's kiss. Like, it takes all the best action scenes, all the best scenes that just correspond to that mix, and it's just so good. All right, enough gushing over one of my favorite Let's Players, though. We're going to go back to Art of the Week. I tried to edit them in such a way that it tells the story of the game from beginning to end. That one absolutely accomplishes that. Story through music is one of my favorite things in the world. And this is going to sound silly, but like when I really like a song, I will create a music video in my head to it. You know, along to like characters that I like or something like that, you know, and kind of do like in my head, like headcanon storytelling to music. So the fact that you can actually take that from your head and make it into a video is so cool to me. I just caught up on 2x speed. Holy crap, I didn't even know you could do that. I freaking love grab hammers. Me too, brother. Happy flippin' Friday. Wah! Well, a good wah to you too, sir. Glad to have you join us, fish. Excellent work, Raven. Again, I love what you've done here with the griffin heads here. That's a cool conversion. Now, is this the griffin heads because it's Clan Hawkshroud? Or is this, I know sometimes people use the birds in like a Zinch kind of detailing or theming. And is this going to be a Chaos Knight? Let me know, brother. Let me know. But again, very cool. I'm looking forward to how you paint it up, brother. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that you can do it until you're caught up because any part of the stream isn't live now. Considered pre-recorded like DVR, but convenient. That's awesome. So some of you know I mentioned at the beginning of the show that this month, me and Who Took My Dice, Ultramarines and Beyond, a friend of the show, and I are doing a challenge for this month, a community challenge called March for Macragge, which is, if you're not familiar with Ultramarines, that's one of their battle calls, is that, you know, when they want to lead themselves to victory, they say, "We march for Macragge," you know, the name of their home planet. And yeah, so we're doing a March for Macragge, just anybody painting up anything blue for the month of March, because blue is the famous color of the Ultramarines. Yeah, so anybody painting up anything blue, we'll be happy to show it on our showcase at the end of the month. If anybody's doing content creation, any videos you make around March for Macragge, we'll be happy to put you in the playlist. And we just want us all to celebrate the month of March together and hang out, paint some cool stuff. So feel free to join us. Anyways, you can't get more March for Macragge than shots of his Ultramarines in his battle report that he put out earlier this week doing battle. And so here we go. We've got his assault intercessors here, and I think this is his lieutenant with a mastercrafted bolter, I believe. I could be wrong. His Phobos armored reavers here. That was you know, the terror troops. They have very cool special forces theming. I just wish they were stronger on the tabletop. I'll see if I can join. Dude, it would be awesome to have a Death Skull from you, brother. That would be amazing. His Infernus Marines here. This is a really cool like action shot of them like holding this, you know, burned out bunker here. His aggressors holding up the right flank here. Very cool. and a good shot from above for the whole force. Man, the way you've got your table set up, just all of these models look really good. I gotta say, your scratch built, I think this is your scratch built terrain. It looks really good, man. Like, it fits in with everything so well. I know that's from your experience at the days of working at GW, and it looks great, brother. Interestingly, so this red helmet here marks, just a little lore drop for you guys. This red helmet here marks this guy as the sergeant of the squad here, but it wasn't always that way. Back in the day, 10,000 years before current game time, during the Horus Heresy, having a red helmet was a mark of censure. Okay, and so this was like wearing your punishment on you. You know, so it's like if in the military you wore your demerits. I don't know if there's a visible way of being shown demerits. I don't think so, but yeah, this would be like wearing your demerits on you. Like, it's a mark of censure. Like, oh shit, he's got the red helmet, he's in trouble. But now it's a mark of honor. And the reason is the person who had a red helmet in the Horus Heresy, at the time that one of their home planets got invaded, Calth, it was supposed to be one of their flagship planets, because the Ultramarines don't just get one planet, whereas a lot of the chapters do. Because they have, like, their Primarch is like the ultimate leader. Like, all of the Primarchs do something special. Kind of like in Danganronpa. They're all an ultimate. And the Ultramarines leader was like an ultimate leader. Like, he was part noble, part politician, in addition to being general and all these other roles. He was just like the ultimate leader. You know, some people jokingly say that all of those leadership skills meant that his ultimate was that he was the ultimate spreadsheet keeper. But, you know, it's just, he's very good at leadership, organization, networking, politicking, all those good things. And anyway, so they had 500 worlds that the Ultramarines come from. And anyways, so Macragge is the capital planet, and one that was set up to be the equal on the other side of the kingdom was one called Calth. And when Calth got invaded, this guy was waiting in the Primarch's quarters, waiting for the big boss, his Primarch, to, you know, meet with him about what he's in trouble for. And what he was in trouble for is, he said, honestly, sir, we've gotten good at fighting just about every enemy in the universe. The only thing that we haven't put thought into fighting is planning out ways to fight a space marine. And they're like, that's disloyal of you, because they're all your brothers. And the very thought of thinking of how to fight and kill your brothers is sinful. And he's like, it's just that we're the strongest fighting force in the universe right now, sir. Of course, this was before the time of the Tau, but anyways, we're the strongest fighting force in the universe right now, so it only makes sense that we figure out how to defeat a space marine. Anyways, that's what he was in trouble for, was planning, in their eyes, planning on how to kill his brothers. Anyways, their planet gets invaded by evil space marines, the ones that had turned traitor, and so his skills ended up being necessary. When they attacked their planet, Cal, he was actually waiting in the Primarch's quarters to get in trouble, to meet with, you know, his commanding, the Primarch, the big, you know, the big boss, the commander-in-chief, you know. And he's like, the Primarch tells him he's going to have to wait longer, that he's got stuff to take care of. And so he's like, well, I'm already in trouble anyways. And so while he's waiting, instead of just waiting patiently in the Primarch's quarters, he's like, well, I'm in trouble anyways. And so he starts pulling weapons from the Primarch's own private collection off the walls and training with them. He's taking special, his prized possessions and training with them. And then, like I said, it turns out that the planet gets attacked, and he starts defending himself with some of the Primarch's weapons. This man has massive balls, and so he ends up in a fight. Eventually, he's fighting alongside the Primarch, and the Primarch looks at him and sees that he's wielding two of his own weapons and says, really? You just grabbed these out of my personal stash? And he's like, we got invaded and these seem like they're working. And Yeah. So Primarch's like, aren't you the guy who was trying to figure out how to kill Space Marines? Well, it just so happens we're being attacked by traitor Space Marines right now. So actually, that's kind of smart. And so anyways, when they end up winning that battle later on, they're like, you know what? I don't know why this man's in trouble for figuring out how to fight Space Marines. This man's the only one who had the balls to do it, and he's part of the reason why we survived today. So from now on, this red helmet no longer means that this person's in trouble. This is going to be a mark of greatness. And now, thousands of years later, that tradition continues, and someone wearing the red helmet is usually someone of rank, like a sergeant. You know, it's like continuing to put that position, continuing to mean a position of honor. Mythos. Danganronpa, Captain America. I understood that reference. It does take a special special set of fandoms to put all those things together. We have here Mr. Fish just joined the chat, and we've got here Mr. Fish's Death Corps of Krieg with a twist. So he's got these Krieg, Imperial Krieg guardsmen here that have been converted into cultists, and they've been made extra chaosy. Let's take a look at what he's done in this kit bash here. We've got Nurglings, we got Spikes, more Nurglings. I love that, like the plague, all these like plague bearer pieces. Very cool. Mutations afoot. So these guys are definitely no longer Death Corps of Krieg. These guys are Death Cult of Krieg. And those are all of the pictures I have from Art of the Week. We've got some links here. So we're going to move on to next one. View story. All right, at Grim Wolves. This is from Red Heavy Minis. Watch full reel. Boom. This is, okay. So this is from Grim Wolves. Sven Bloodhowl, Wolf Lord of the Bloodhowl's great company. This is badass. That is one of the axes from the Thunderwolf Cavalry. Oh, this is the new jump Space Marine captain in with the jump pack. This is awesome. He looks great. I love the energy around the eyes. Definitely grim dark, kind of, you know, battered up and stuff like that. Really nicely weathered. Love that he added the pelts and the chains to make it extra Space Wolfy feeling. That is so cool. Lots of little scratches and rust bits. Really nice detailing on the face. Extremely well done. This is a phenomenal piece here. They are indeed Plague Bearers extra bits. Nice. Really great conversions, Fish. All right. Boop. Back to Messenger. All right. We got a couple here from Death Cults of Fenris. Can we expand that? No expansion. Ah, there we go. We'll just zoom in a little bit. All right. Oh man, my Viking pronunciation is horrible. So I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. But called the Terrible One of the Sons of Jotnar, Ancient of Tra Company. That's awesome. I love the Space Wolves Contemptor Dreadnought. I don't think I've seen it. I haven't seen one in a hot minute. But I've always loved the Space Wolves Dreadnought. I actually ordered one of these as soon as they came out with one. And then Richard put a wolf head on one for me, which was super pimp. Oh man, he's crushing this World Eater here. Lots of blood running down. Definitely the lore for the reason why the World Eaters have the dark red armor now is because of dried blood. You know, they started off with these pristine blue and white armors, and allegedly, you know, that they would look like this, you know, just bathed in blood by the end of battle. And after they turned traitor, they stopped cleaning their armor. And so, you know, plus they started worshiping the blood god, so they don't clean the blood off of their armor. And so, like, the dark red armor that we know of the World Eaters now is, you know, thousands of years of bloodstains in the armor. Cult of Fenris does Horus Heresy. Okay, so that would be why we're seeing the, well, these days, why we're seeing any Contemptor Dreadnought. I mean, I still take Contemptor Dreadnoughts to my games, but that's because I play super casually. Question, does this work like D&D, where you can make up your own story within the established lore and play it out with the figures, or is it more like a board game, established sets of rules? It's more like the board game. It's a free-flowing kind of board game, so they call it a war game because there's not like a preset board. However, you can really build your army however you want and customize your characters however you want. Obviously, there are limits to the rules of what loadouts and weapons you can take, but lots of people go into making their own characters for these because there are generic characters. You know, you could take this named captain like Captain Uriel Ventress, or this named Wolf Lord like Ragnar Blackmane, or you can take generic captains like you know, a Captain in Gravis armor, Captain in Terminator armor. And when you take an unnamed one, lots of people will build story around that and, you know, give personality to that character. Obviously, some people just play the tabletop side, but that's with anything, right? Like, even in D&D, some people just want a murder hobo, right? It's about the mechanics of the game, not the storytelling. But then, on the other end, some people are all about the storytelling, building their character, and their place in that established world, and that kind of thing, and playing out through it. So, it's kind of the same way here. In fact, so I have, like, my Imperial Guard armor so far has a lot of lore. My Space Wolves army, I've made a lot of lore for. They're just kind of headcanon. One day I'll get around to writing it all down and doing videos on lore for my armies. And then so that way I can then have a bunch of people on the internet tell me why that wouldn't work in this universe and why that's wrong. I'm not sure why I want to put out videos on this, because people really are very sticklers for lore. And so a lot of people don't like where headcanon and headcanon and official lore meet. A lot of people have problems with that kind of thing, but I just want to get out my story at some point, so I might still do it anyways. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked again. So yeah, so in this case, this is what they've done here. This is just a generic dreadnought, right? You know, a Contemptor Dreadnought, but they've named it. They've given it this name here, also calling him the Terrible One, and given him like a company that he would belong to Tra Company, which is a company in the original lore, the Sons of the Jotnar. No idea where that name came from, but again, probably just given to their character here. And so yeah, even though like in the rule set, this is just going to be a dreadnought, and like I said earlier, dreadnoughts are people on life support in these sarcophagi, keeping them hovering between life and death. You know, they've already given this person a name, a backstory, that kind of thing. And so I love stuff like that when people interject story into the game. Some of us are monsters and give every model names and lore. I love that about Fish's work. Every single model in his army, and orcs are a massive army with lots of very infantry heavy, and every single one has a name. I love that. Death Cult Fenris, this is amazing. I love what you've done with all of the pelt work here. I love what you've done with all of the knot work. It looks very clean. As far as like the painting of the knot work, I've seen a lot of people, which no shade, I mean, everybody paints at different skill sets, but somehow a lot of people, it's easy to put too much paint on your brush and accidentally fill in some of those gaps that make the knot work stand out. Yours looks very crisp. I love that you've got like some very clean parts in dynamic contrast to some of the very weathered and bloody parts. So yeah, it looks great. You know, I love what you've done here. Love the faces and bases, man. The face really stands out nicely. So yeah, overall, beautiful, beautiful work. Also, I love that you bathed this World Eater in gore, and from the position, that's probably just from him being crushed by the Dreadnought, but it did let me go into the storytelling of, you know, the dark blood-colored armor of the World Eaters that we see today. Like chess with more rules. Oh, so like Final Fantasy Tactics. It would be cleaner if it were like Tactics, although because it is a free-flowing map, you know, it's like not clean spaces that you can move, so everything is done with inches and a tape measure. So it's not as clean cut as moving X amount of squares, but yeah, basically that is like a free-flowing version of Tactics. I think that is a sex tape, shows his way out. I don't know what that was in response to. Fish, you're a member of the OG Monsters Club. Alright, I think we're about to look at another one from Cult of Fenris, or Death Cult of Fenris. Yes, another badass piece here. Ooh, even more lore here. This looks so cool. First of all, brilliant work here. This looks amazing. You bombed my city and razed my palace. You routed my armies and drove us into this maddening hailstorm. For days we rode through these blasted wastelands to reach the muster point. But for this storm, our scanners froze and left us blind and stranded. Our petrol coagulated and turned into jelly in our carriers. And you were always close behind, harrowing our flanks, driving us deeper into the storm, into this madness. You're a savage beast. How did you even find us? Do you enjoy killing us, you monster? You were always the monster, fated to die beneath my axe. Your corrupt council preyed upon the Imperium and its citizens. You grew so complacent you couldn't feel the executioner's blade pressed against your neck till it was too late. Now you see the shine of my axe and know your end. The last discourse and judgment of planetary governor Waltov Ambrose and the Bali of the Vilca Fenrica prior to the execution to his execution for treason. Off to bed, you legends. You all have an amazing night and a great weekend. You too, my brother. We'll probably be wrapping it up here in a moment anyway. So thank you for your hangout and you have a good night. Without the grid system and turn-based combat, a tactics game becomes an RTS. Yes, it is more akin to an RTS. So, Bali is looking sharp. I've loved the Mark III. Mark III is my favorite. Mark of Arm. Mark III and Mark X, I think, are both tied for my favorites. Both for very different reasons, obviously. They're very different looks, but I love the way they look. Super nice work. Love the freehand, by the way. I can never make the stripes on the shoulder pads look right. Although I do try it pretty often with my white scars. I don't know why I don't try it as often with my Space Wolves. I guess because mine are custom colored, so I never think about it. The few times I have tried, it's been rough. But not just rough because they're wolves. Love this shield. Oh my god, this looks amazing. That is so cool. I kind of want to find my notepad, see if I can translate it. Oh. Nope, this is not the notepad. I thought it might be. Okay, anyways, that is super cool. I love the shield. Also, really good work with giving it the texture to make it look like it's wood. Really well done. No wolf love from Mythos. What? I was working on some of my wolf units just recently. Oh, just because I don't do the freehand? I mean, that's not an anti-wolf choice. That's an anti-freehand choice. Because my freehand usually, is to the extent of stick figures, and I suck at freehand. That's why there's no, freehand for Mythos. But brilliant work here, Death Cult of Fenris. It looks amazing. And I love that this is the final pose. This one just looks so badass. Like, I can't even put it into words. It's just got a very pimp, like a man who knows, he's about his business. I'll show you a freehand wolf banner I did as a kid. Oh, that'll be cool. Oh, what's freehand? Oh my goodness. Yes, the master of tattoos all over his models doesn't know what freehand is. You're a monster. That's a lot of valid reasons not to have a freehand on the computer. Oh man. And that was our last submission, and we're about 20 minutes over, so I think we're at a good spot. Gonna go back to the big camera. So, wonderful art of the week. Thank you everybody who submitted submissions this week, whether it was your own. Wait, no, we're missing one. Missing the first one that was submitted. Oh, right, because that one was in the Wolf Lord chat. I needed to forward that over from the Wolf Lord chat. Horrible person. But we caught it. Okay, we're going to go back to, boom, articles and art. First person to submit this week was Brother Hellchild. Where's mine? Sorry. Speaking of amazing art and freehand, so here is a Cygor, I want to say. Pouts in the corner. It's here, brother. It's here. So yeah, very natural looking. We've got this. A Cygor I'm not familiar with Cygors, but Cygors are very Minotaur-like, right? So you can see the horns growing here, and look at this. Look at all these tattoos, and I'm not sure what culture you were replicating here, Hellchild, but they're beasts of chaos, right? I'm just saying they're like physically they're somewhat similar to Minotaurs, like corrupted chaos Minotaurs. But I don't know what you were going for with the tattoos, but they really give me like a Samoan kind of vibe, Hellchild. In fact, it really kind of reminds me a lot of like Roman Reigns' tattoos on his right side. Just super cool looking, very intricate, super hard working, and of course, as always, maybe there's one on the other side here. Yes, one thing I really love about your tattoos, it doesn't just look like paint sitting on top of the skin. Like, you really glaze this in so that way it looks embedded in the skin of the miniature. Just the same way as like when you go to get a tattoo, it gets embedded into your skin. Tribal influence, yeah, it really gives me those kind of Samoan kind of vibes. So very cool looking. I think you've done brilliant work. Like, honestly, I could look at that and just, believe that that's part of the model. I would be like, nobody could have freehanded all those details. And that's got to be like sculpted details and, somebody putting in a wash, right, to flood those details. I didn't see it correctly at first. I thought there was no head and there was a crystal growing out of his neck hole, but now I see the head. yeah, it's Very cool stuff. He's from dead on, it can be harder to tell, I'm sure, but the side profile, you can see just like a beast of burden. His head is just kind of hunched forward. Super cool work though, my brother. And of course, like, obviously the tattoos take up, like, are like the biggest eye candy here, but like, you've done a great job with everything. The detail on the horns, all the fur and stuff like that. Just really great work, brother. And I love the contrast of the pink gums and tongue. It's like all like, dark earth tones. Well, not all dark earth tones, but it's all earth tones. You got your browns and whites and grays and stuff like that. But then, this pop of, vibrancy here with the tongue and the gums, just really is a nice contrast. Brilliant work, my brother. And he said earlier that after all that work, he is ready to go back to some sci-fi. So it'd be cool to see what he does next. Pay me no mind. I have 20/20 vision, but I'm still blind as hell. I could walk right past the lever I needed to pull in a game 7 times and claim it's the game's fault. I mean, same here. I have but mine is because of a horrible sense of direction. I'm sure you've seen that in Darklight Dreamer's Let's Plays, and let me tell you, that poor sense of direction is at our, for us, it's a family trait. Wolfen is next. Oh, I can't wait to see you paint some Wolfen. Oh man, guys, good hangout tonight. I got a ton done. Taking my my tactical warsuit here from just, it's blues and starting to carve out some detail. And yeah, it's starting to look more like what it's supposed to be, instead of just a lump of plastic. I love as soon as you start carving out in almost any model, as soon as you start carving out a few details, like you get the overall color of what you want, but then when you start carving out details, you can kind of see it moving, kind of coming to life a little bit. I have a good sense of direction, but it doesn't help in games where all the environments look the same and there's no landmarks and I'm being chased. That's fair. That's fair. Well, see, in all those reasons, you can't just say that it's you being blind as heck. Those are all very valid reasons to miss the things like a lever. So yes, great hangout, guys. Thanks for helping me get a bunch of stuff done. I want to just go ahead and put on this sword that I've left off for painting, just so that way, yeah, we can see it a little more put together. Yeah. And even though we've barely put in an hour or so of work, it definitely is already feeling more like it's coming together. Have a great weekend, Mythos. All in the chat, be well. You have a great weekend too. You have a great weekend, brother. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us. I really appreciate you. So yeah, that's where we've gotten tonight at the end of our work. And so we've had a brilliant art of the week, as well as getting some stuff painted. Thank you to everyone who submitted things, whether it was stuff that inspired you or stuff you worked on personally. Lots of talent running through Art of the Week this week. And thank you everyone for hanging out in the chat with us tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys liked tonight's episode, please make sure that you grab up an ox and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. Drop us some comments down below, especially if you're watching from the archives, and feel free to be part of any of tonight's ridiculous conversations. And if you guys are not yet subscribed to our Friends of the Frost and Fist in the link tree down below, and if you're not subscribed to me, then I'd definitely love to have you as part of the pack here on the Frost and Fist. So subscribe. Until next time, stay frosty.